Good evening, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra with a big roundup of all the happenings of the world of sports. I am Ahmed Nawaz.
I am Sabil Hazar. I'm a sports analyst and a youth football coach.
And I'm K. Asif, cricket analyst and cricket commentator as well.
Well, we're going to have fun tonight because we're going to be starting off the show with our roundup. And let me just give you the lineup first of all. We're going to be starting off the show with the PSL, the Pakistan Super League. All the hype is there. And now the franchises have been given the luxury of adding 2 more players to their supplementary squad. This virtual draft will take place on the 7th of January. Besides that, there's a lot of news surrounding PSL. Shaheen Shah Afridi has been named the captain of Lahore Qalandars. How exciting is that? Shaheen, with his brilliant spell of bowling in the World Cup, be it any format, Shaheen is always there. But now seeing him as a captain in the PSL is going to be great once again. All the team changes, all you need to know. But, you know, particularly about having those 2 players at a time where we know injuries are one thing, but COVID concerns are another. So we're going to be talking about that in detail because it is, of course, very important to strengthen your squad. And for all the players who were not selected in the preliminary draft, it's a point for them as well to make if they get selected in this supplementary order as well. After that, we'll be talking about some more things. It was the Asian Champions Trophy hockey tournament. Pakistan, of course, not so lucky this time. In the semi-finals against Korea, Korea was leading 5-3 in the last quarter. Pakistan, courtesy of Kashif, came up with 2 more goals. And, you know, it was great to see that Pakistan were in contention because they leveled the match 5-all before the very last stroke of play. Korea got a penalty corner, scored the 6-1. So Pakistan lost the semi-final by 6-5. First time they failed to qualify for this final of the Champions Trophy hockey tournament. But nonetheless, the boys in green should be proud, have their head up high because, like I said, they needed a miracle to come back from 5-3, and they did that. And of course, on the last end, we would have football, the English Premier League. Of course, fixtures will be going on as per schedule. This has been announced by the Premier League management as well. But of course, with all the news surrounding COVID and a lot of concerns for the teams as well, we discussed it in detail. An emergency meeting was there around the corner as well, which was discussed. The Premier League rejected an emergency firebreaker, and they of course said that the fixtures will be followed as per plans as well. We already know a team that has suffered just because of postponing a fixture regarding the Europa Conference League. It's Tottenham Hotspur, who have been knocked out, and of course their game against Rennes was deemed as a forfeit, and Rennes were given the points, ended up top of the table. So we've got to discuss that as well because there are 2 sides of that story. We'll be discussing all about that in tonight's show, starting off our discussion on the Pakistan Super League. As I just told you, we've got a report. Let's go take a look and then we'll come back.
Pakistan Cricket Board has allowed all 6 Pakistan Super League franchises to pick 2 additional players each in the supplementary category for Pakistan Super League 2022 to be held from 27 January to 27 February. The decision came after all the participating teams had announced the list of retained players. PCB stated that this decision will help provide more opportunities for local players and will help in their growth and development. It will also allow teams to have extra players in their squad, and this will be useful for them when the situation goes beyond control. The statement further added that the additional players will be picked in a replacement draft session that will be held virtually on 7th January 2022. The Karachi Kings will have a go first, and they will be followed by Lahore Qalandars. Islamabad United, Quetta Gladiators, Multan Sultans and Peshawar will then get a chance to pick the players in the same order. This order was decided based on a random draw. For the second pick, the order of the teams will be reversed. Using the reverse order format, the second picks will allow Peshawar Zulmi to go first, followed by Multan Sultans, Quetta Gladiators, Islamabad United, Lahore Qalandars and Karachi Kings respectively.
There you go. That was Kainat Amil with that report giving you the details and also the pick order of the supplementary draft as well that we've talked about. Now, Sabil, first of all, tough times once again for sports. The Omicron variant and everything that has been happening is now a major concern because, like I said, we still have that fear that we don't want to go back to the times when we had to cancel tournaments and, you know, call off games as well. But that being said, what's the importance right now for teams or franchises to actually have enough cushion that if, God forbids, things like COVID-19 come into effect, they've got the necessary replacements in their squads?
So we've been discussing a lot about how in the Premier League, and we mentioned the NBA yesterday as well, how these kind of COVID bubbles can be done and what can be done to make them effective. Now, in terms of these 2 extra picks, what they'll do is they'll give, obviously, like you said, teams a little bit more of a cushion. So if they do, and for God forbid, they lose a player to COVID, in terms of they're out for any number of weeks, depending on how long it takes them to recover, they have somebody who can come in and play that role. So being given not just 1, but 2 extra picks, that's going to help out a lot. And it also means you can add more variety. If there's for any other reason that you can't play a player, you have that option. But with COVID especially, this is very important. And now let's hope that in terms of backroom staff and such, they are well equipped. And those guys are not getting exposed, because obviously they make things tick behind the scenes.
What do you think, Asif, for the league itself as well? We know that there is a chance for every team to pick 2 more supplementary players, strengthen their squad a bit, like we talked about the cushion for COVID-19 as well. But for the players who've not been selected, how important is it for them as well?
Well, of course, I mean, it's really important for the new players as well, you know, that and they were looking a chance, and this is called good luck. And the good luck is going up with the upcoming players who are going to be picked up on 7th of January in the virtual draft of PSL. So, you know that what happened in the past, recent past, you see that Windies came to Pakistan, and they should have played 3 ODIs here. But look, what happened? 5 of the players, and 2 of the staff, they were positive, COVID positive, and they went in the quarantine. So that's why they have cancelled their tour. And unluckily, we didn't enjoy that ODI cricket in Pakistan. As Sabil mentioned that yesterday you guys were mentioning, and you guys were discussing about what's happening in football.
Yeah, we missed you yesterday.
Actually showed me the red card, and that's why. So yes, it's affecting a lot. And now this is the time that the people they're getting now in each sport, they're getting the cushion, and it's really important.
But Asif, what's the news right now? People are still concerned whether the PSL is going to happen on schedule or not. That's very important.
Look, without giving me any dollars, you are asking me inner story, and I'm not giving you the inner story, to be very honest. Now, apart from joke, that yes, there is still there are the question marks, and but we are hoping, and we are still positive that the way PCB is taking steps, and the franchises of PSL, they are taking part, I'm quite sure that we will overcome all of these circumstances, and PSL will be happening in Pakistan.
Yeah, Sabil.
Sorry, just to continue on that. If your COVID bubbles are effective enough and you have the right precautions, it doesn't matter how many players you've had. Like we mentioned the NBA, there are sports where players have not been added into teams. They haven't had any extra cushions, which is a good thing to have a cushion. But even without, I'm saying it is possible with an effective bubble to make sure that there's not, if you get an odd case here and there, that's going to happen. But you can minimize transmission, make sure that as many people as possible are kept safe and available for games. And that also includes backroom staffs, coaches, and all of these people who are vital in making sure players are ready for the matches that come.
But the question then arises...
can I make a comment here? Okay, what rightly said by Sabil, that would have to take precautions and would have to avoid parties. What happened in the last PSL, you know, that there were some birthday parties were going on, and the players, they said, yes, we're out from the bubble. So yes, if you are following all the precautions, that because you know that the PSL is really, the PSL is passionate, and the people are passionate about the PSL. So yes, you have to take the steps, and you'd have to follow all the steps.
But Asif, do you think PCB has learned their lesson now? It's a new management, everything is new air, and we do remember the embarrassment we had last time. So this time, we also had an inquiry report that was never made public. So people really want to know that they're acting on the fact that they're going to have a very strong protocol for PSL this time.
Yes, let me tell you that we didn't observe any sort of inquiry before, but as the Ramiz Raja took over the charge for the chairman, you know what happened in the New Zealand series. We did not have the review system, and Ramiz Raja basically asked for the authorities what's going on, and he asked for the inquiry as well. So yes, I'm quite positive, and Ramiz Raja is taking right steps now, and now this is the time to support him, to support PCB. If you criticize him, yes, this is your right, but now if he's doing good, this is the time to support him.
Absolutely, time to support him. Sabil, you would agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. So if you have let your guard down in the last league, this is your time to step up your game.
100%, that would be the logic that should be followed. But again, when it comes to organizations, be it private or whatever, in Pakistan, what is being said are the protocols and what are being followed, we're not really sure till something comes out in the news or something comes out in the media. But I'm hoping, yes, they've learned, and I'm hoping they haven't just learned to keep things under wraps better, but actually take the right precautions going forward, so that
get them vaccinated, get everyone vaccinated.
To be honest, like I said, this is about the Premier League as well. It's about following protocols, because even when people are unvaccinated, we were following protocols and not having positive cases. It's how strictly you're adhering. If you're a multi-million dollar organization, in some cases multi-billion dollar organizations, whatever you are, at that level, surely you can operate an effective bubble. It depends on how seriously you're willing to adhere to the rules and how strict the punishments are for the millionaires who play for you to follow those rules. So that is my opinion of it. And I think definitely if the protocols are in place, I'm sure they were in place last time as well. I'm just hoping the stricter guidelines, there's more measures to make sure people follow those guidelines this time around. And I'm hoping and I have faith that yes, this time it will be better and the fans will not suffer and lose any cricket, and there will be no controversy regarding that.
Yeah, Asif, so the PSL management and the PCB would do their best, but obviously the franchises themselves also have to contribute to this cause.
It's really important, and let me take some couple of names regarding Peshawar Zalmi and Lahore Qalandars. What happened in the last time that the Peshawar Zalmi, they had a party and Darren Semi was there and partying Wahab Riaz and some other players. So yes, the important role is that how the franchises are behaving. If they are behaving in the right way, as Sabir said, that
Asif, what kind of party? I mean, let's
sound a bit jealous. Not
well, look, that was a birthday party.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or dinner party. Okay. So yes, and I would like to make a comment concerning Lahore Qalandars that they announced Shaheen Shah Afridi as captain.
Yes.
This is their this is their passion. They brought new blood, they brought new talent. No one knows that who is Suhail Akhtar, but they brought him as captain. He performed well, and after that he was the part of the national T20 as well. And now they took new name Shaheen Shah Afridi, and Shaheen Shah Afridi said in an interview that I'll show that how aggressive captain I am as a fast bowler. So yes, Lahore Qalandar is once again superior in this regards.
Superior indeed, and I think Lahore Qalandars management have once again infused a lot of blood into the PSL. You know, they might have not won a PSL yet, but they've won the hearts of the entire Pakistani community and overseas as well, because I think just with decisions like these, they become such a big franchise of PSL, and I'll be very honest, they've got the most loyal supporters. If they're supporting them, Sabir, till season 7,
looks like
not winning.
Looks like Ahmed, you're also a supporter of Lahore Qalandars.
No, sir, I'll be a Karachi Kings supporter.
Because of Babar Azam, yeah?
A lot of other factors as well. I like Babar Azam, of course. I still think that Imad in the side as well. Although I do think that this season, if you look at the batting lineup of Quetta Gladiators, my God, it is absolutely horrifying. That's the thing that is. But overall, we do know that the PSL is going to continue with all its glory. Time now for our segment recap, just to let you know what we've been discussing throughout the segment. Yes, of course, and we started off with the supplementary draft that we talked about, and of course his PCB has allowed 2 additional players to each franchise, so they've got a lot of cushion now where they can use them for injury time as well, and obviously for COVID as well. And we also discussed the replacement draft is going to take place on the 7th of January, and also the fact that this is going to be a virtual one that will take place as well with additional picks. And Shaheen Shah Afridi has been named captain of Lahore Qalandars. For all you Lahore fans, this is as exciting as it can get as well. Moving on to some more things that we're going to discuss as well. And like I said, we were so excited for the semi-final of the Champions Trophy hockey tournament. And we're going to be talking about that. We've got a report. Let's go take a look and then come back.
In the first semi-final of the 6th edition of Men's Asian Champions Trophy, South Korea defeated Pakistan by 6-5 in Dhaka's Maulana Bhashani National Stadium after an intense match between the two Asian hockey superpowers. Both the teams put on a match that many are calling the game of the tournament so far. Pakistan started the match with a bang, taking the lead inside 5 minutes, but the Koreans reacted well to make a comeback into the match, ending the first quarter with a 2-1 lead. By the end of the second quarter, South Korea maintained its lead at 3-4. Near the end of the fourth quarter, Pakistan showed great resilience with Mubashir Ali equalizing and tying the game at 5-5. However, Jang Jong-hyun's fourth goal ensured Korea booked their place in the final with the game ending 6-5, much to Pakistan's dismay. This was Pakistan's fifth match in the Men's Hockey Asian Champions Trophy 2021 in Dhaka, where they finished third in the group after defeating Bangladesh 6-2 in the final group game. Prior to the loss against South Korea, Pakistan had only lost one game to India.
So close yet so far, Pakistan team, and it was a brilliant final, semi-final. I think the way they made a comeback, and I said it on another platform as well, it was 5-3 when I started that show, and I said they need a miracle to come back from there, and they scored those 2 goals in just a couple of minutes, and then it was 5-all, and in the last couple of moments of the game, they conceded a penalty corner. But Sabeel, my question is, when you come so close and lose, is it more painful, or if you're losing by a one-sided margin, is that more painful?
I think losing, look, the loss, the sting of a loss at that level, at that moment, hurts regardless. The difference is if you ran them close, you will always have that hope that maybe next time we can get them. If you lost 6-0 today, there wasn't going to be that hope. It would just be, you'd be dejected because you lost with such a wide margin. Now, if you look at the game, Pakistan actually started really bright. We got the first goal within, I think, 5 minutes. Then we gave away 2 penalty strokes, and then Korea gets back into it. And I think ill discipline cost us a little bit today. We were playing well when we had possession of the ball. We were actually dominating that quite a lot in this game, getting the ball, getting it far up quite quickly, moving it well. And then ill discipline in our own defensive what would you say?
Errors.
Yeah. Those cost us. We gave away a lot of penalty corners, a lot of penalty strokes, stuff like that, and they capitalized. They only missed, I think, 1 or 2 penalty corners, Korea, and we ran them very close. So our boys should be very, very proud to lose in the last few minutes of the game, to take it to 5-5, to be trailing so many times and come back each and every time with the same vigor that, yes, we can go and take them to the limit and perhaps we can get a result and win here. So I think they definitely need to be proud of themselves. And it is, look, considering this is our national sport and we haven't been doing as great as we have in the past in it, it's just good to see us get to semi-finals. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-team tournament or a 10-team tournament. You want to see them get far in tournaments, and they should be very proud, and this is something to build on now.
Absolutely, build on. Asif, you were very positive about PSL. Are you also positive about Pakistan hockey? Let's be honest.
Well, after watching today's game, yes, I'm positive. And I don't lose hope ever in any game. And Pakistan, as Sabeel said, that it's our national game. We are, as we're supporting cricket and we're supporting PSL, yes, the way they played, these are the proud moments. And we're not dejected because they played, they fought well. And they played till the last time. They showed their all aggression. They showed their confidence, each and everything. Yes, but you know that the one team should have win and one is on the losing side. So we are not on the losing side. We learned a lot from this game. And Pakistan hockey now required revival. And with this game and with this tournament, I think that this is the time that to raise up now in hockey as well. So I'm positive, Ahmed. What do you want to know? Anything else?
Yeah, I do. You know, we've enjoyed so much of glory in hockey, and then it comes to times like this. But obviously, we know the struggles as well. But Sabeel, we've got to understand, and you would agree, that the problem has not been that we don't have talent. It's of course been about the infrastructure development, but the problem has been, like many other sports which have evolved, Pakistan has been pretty slow to match that pace at the international level.
That's actually the perfect way to put it, because we've been left behind. The game has become, look, every sport becomes quicker, people become faster, stronger, better as the game progresses over time. But with hockey, we were left far behind. When it switched to AstroTurf, we were far behind. When the game's rules changed to make it more of a forward-thinking sport, we were far behind. We kept lagging behind. So yes, I agree, we have talent. But I've said this before on television, I've said this to you in private as well, that it's irrelevant to the rest of the world if you have talent. If it's your talent, you have to nurture it and make sure it gets the recognition and it gets that world stage to perform on, right? So if you're not developing your talent, that's your fault. But hopefully, people aren't being turned away from hockey, so that talent continuously comes through like a conveyor belt. We just need to figure out a way to utilize it and improve on it. Because right now, if you look at the rankings, I think we were 18th, Korea was 17th, and Japan was 16th. India is a top 5 team. They're probably, well, they are the favorites and most likely going to win this tournament.
But I think that the other thing that we see, and which is a dilemma, Asif, you would like to
could I put a question for you?
No.
For you guys?
No, not at all.
No,
not
please,
this time.
Please, okay, my question is why we're not getting players like Suhail Abbas and Shehbaz Senior?
Good question.
Why?
Because we don't have hockey at grassroots levels anymore. That's plain simple.
And who's the culprit?
Pakistan Hockey Federation. They are to blame. Look, for any federation, they need to realize that the game is going to die unless they make steps. They make it interesting for the youth. The youth right now, you know what India did? India started having indoor leagues for hockey, small leagues, bringing in their superstars. And you'll be surprised at the level, Sabil. What they did was exactly, they even tried imitating futsal for hockey as well. You know, smaller indoor hockey fields and, you know, just quick goals, 12, 14 goals, 5-4 players aside. So they kept it alive. So I think that's where we missed the part that we needed to understand that we're going to be champions. We've enjoyed a glorious era of hockey. But let's be honest, it's not the same world anymore. We had to move on, and we didn't.
And to add on to Asif Bhai, who's our new host, his question directed at us. That's also a bit on all of us. What are all of us who analyze and love sports and want to see it do well? What have we done to contribute to it? Have we put our kids in their programs? Have we tried becoming coaches? Have we tried bringing private sector involvement in? What have all of us done to keep that national sport alive? And if I'm being very honest, not a whole lot. So it's all of these different factors and taking pride in that national sport and as a nation looking to build towards it. So anybody who wants to see it do well, you have to also ask yourself, well, what are you doing for your local sport and to get it
True. Asif just mentioned that it's a
could I ask
sport.
another question, guys?
Okay, since you're the new host, Ahmed, what do you say?
No.
Who can stop him?
My question is that do we have an accountability concerning regarding this hockey, why we're going down?
Next question.
Next question.
Next question. Someone else than Asif, please. No comment. All right. I think he's right. In the past, in the recent past as well, there have been allegations of accountability not being there for Pakistan Hockey Federation, and I think that Sabil is right. If you had the right focus, they would be talking about it. If a cricketer does not get any facility, gets highlighted on Twitter, why can't a hockey player who's been an Olympian maybe, or who's probably represented Pakistan at the World Cup or whatever stage, and is probably a street vendor now? So that breaks your heart if you're not talking. So I think the reason that we've not talked about it much definitely makes it even more dying, because if we had talked about it, if we had kept it on the top of lineup of sports platforms throughout Pakistan, then all these people would be accountable. Then all these people would have to answer for what had been going on in Pakistan hockey. I mean, it's just not, the plain question is, how many facilities have been developed in the past 5 years? We'll have no answer. How many facilities have we upgraded in the past 5 years? We haven't. Have we had any school workshops? No, we don't. Trust me, go to a major school right now in Pakistan, ask them about hockey. They won't even know it's your national sport. That's the dilemma right now. But that being said, I think we'll still stay on a positive note. Congratulations to Pakistan Hockey Federation and the Pakistan hockey team. I think the boys have done it fabulously well. It's very, very disappointing not to make it to the final, but at the same time they need to have their heads up high and bow out to the tournament, because I'm sure that from here onwards they will believe that they can do it, and we will try to get better and better as the game progresses. On that note, it's time now for a segment that is probably the red card to K. Asif. But Asif, thank you so much for joining us. But we're going to be coming back. But let's give you the recap first of all about Pakistan hockey. We talked about the fact that they lost to Korea 6-2 in the semi-finals. First time Pakistan fails to qualify for the finals of the Asian Champions Trophy. But nonetheless, the boys have been fabulous. They had a good tournament overall. Excellent performance from the Korean goalie is also the thing that made a difference as well. On that note, we're going to say goodbye to K. Asif, take a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss football. Stay tuned to Sports Extra. Well, welcome back to Sports Section. Now, Asif might have been shown the door, but trust me, there's nothing to get bored about as well, because we still have a lot on the plate. Sabeel is still in studios. We're going to be discussing football, and in football, it was the emergency meeting to talk about the English Premier League, where it has been decided that no fixture will be postponed or rescheduled. The games are going to go as they have been planned. And the fact is that, you know, you've got to understand these are very testing times right now for football globally. We've got a team that's already suffered. I'll come to that in a bit. But so far, Sabeel, is this a positive development, or do you think it's sort of a egoistic decision?
I think it's a terrible decision. What they've done in this emergency meeting is they've said, well, nothing. Like, we're supposed to come to people with an update today, and the update is, well, nothing. Nothing is going to change. The schedule for winter is going to remain the same. They said they're going to go over it again in the new year. I am not sure when. I don't know if they specified a date, but we know it will happen. But the point remains, the winter is the busiest period. This is when you have a congestion of fixtures running up into the new year. This is where you need to sort it out. You have all your outbreaks right now. Simply because you don't want to lose out on any commercial profit yourself and lose out on that revenue yourself with TV rights and whatnot, you've decided to go and just not change the fixtures and said they're just going to be played out as they are right now. What they have decided is the FA Cup 3rd and 4th round replays, I think, are going to be scrapped, so those matches will go straight to extra time or penalties if it comes to that. But even last year they did the same thing, so nothing really new here. Those replays have been scrapped. Not much to report here other than the Premier League has done what it always has put the players' welfare second. And if anybody's going to suffer, it's going to be the fans in the long run who
they could have at least discussed about the fact that most of their players or staff is still not inoculated. They could have at least discussed the fact that they need to get their efficacy level up. The rate of vaccinations in the Premier League needs to go up.
The statement of that is that I think 84% of people are on what they call a vaccination journey, which sounds like a very bad cruise, but they're on their vaccination journey. 84%, that means they've either had 1 shot, 2 shots, a booster, so anybody who's had any kind of shot.
Yeah, what is this, like Alice in Wonderland of the Premier League?
On that 84% mark, because it's a lot better saying 84% than what did you mention the other day, 68 or 60?
Yeah, 68%.
Whatever percentage it was. So they said they're quite confident most people are going to be getting vaccinated. Again, though, I will say this, that is a cop-out on their part, because it is poor protocols that are leading to these things, or confusing protocols which are not being directed clearly. And even if you got 100% vaccination and you had these protocols, you would have cases. So you really need to make changes there. If nothing else, alleviate the fixture schedule a bit so that teams aren't just putting players on the pitch who are not ready to play as well, because in the long term their health is going to be affected by that as well.
Very true. The fact is that they're already seeing repercussions. Now they've got a life example, a living example right now, where a team has been, you know, at the brink of that, they've been knocked out. And I'm talking about Tottenham, for those of you who don't know, because their game was postponed due to certain reasons. The management at the Europa Conference League decided that their game that was due to be postponed against Rennes has now been deemed a forfeit. Rennes was awarded the point, ended up topping the table, and Tottenham have been knocked out of the European Conference League. So the repercussions are in front of you.
So when we talk about those repercussions, if we talk, let's talk about it on a principle level first, and then we'll add in context. So if we talk about it on a principle level, what's happened is a team has been unable to fixture in a game, because UEFA, I told you, said that before the new year this fixture has to be played, and we spoke about how they might make exemptions. Clearly they haven't. They've just said you forfeited and 3 points go to your opposition. But when we talk about it on a principle level, a team has been unable to go and complete a game, not for anything other than the fact that they've had people missing because of COVID and other reasons that have led to games being postponed. And in the Premier League, because they haven't been able to change the fixture list around, they haven't been able to reschedule that. So because of that, team has lost out. Although I will say this, let's now add in that context I was talking about earlier. We're talking about context. It's Spurs in the Europa Conference League. They should have walked this group already. They should have won their first 5 games. And even if they lost this game by forfeit,
leave it till now?
Yeah, even if they lost this game by forfeit, they should be through. So shame on Spurs and shame on the Premier League for different reasons.
Well, they were going through a lot in terms of their managerial changes as well. So probably give them a point. But for managers who are coming to the Premier League, things just keep getting tough.
Yeah, managers, again, I'm not going to let Spurs off that easy. They're still with the squad they should have done better. But I agree with you. Managers are coming into the Premier League and they're having to deal with these fixtures. Any manager comes into the Premier League at any point in our lifetime has always spoken about the busy winter calendar, and as more competitions have popped up and there are more games a year, that discussion has only become more and more about, well, there's too many games in this period, running up to Christmas, running up to the New Year. So this is clearly a long-term problem that the Premier League is not willing to solve. Every other league offers a longer winter break in the top European leagues. Now the problem is, obviously you can say the Premier League, well, it's the biggest league in the world. It has the most money and revenue, and these things are all part of it. But I think some things you can change. For example, FA Cup replays, yes, I understand why they're very lucrative to lower league teams, and when they come to a big team and they make that money. But what you have to kind of also think about the fixture list. If you want the big teams playing all these games, you have to make an adjustment somewhere, and maybe that's the thing that's going to go. And who is it going to affect? Not your Premier League boys, it's going to affect your lower league teams.
Well, Lincoln Park did say in the end it doesn't even matter. so maybe that's the case. But overall, I think Sabeel is right, and I will add to the fact that it is really a decision that you don't expect from a management of that stature. You needed to come out with a decision, you didn't. So basically that emergency meeting only discussed how to save more revenue, considering that there were TV rights that might have been tarnished as well. So I think that's the only thing that came out of it, and it was not about the players, not about the franchises, not even about the fans as well. Because obviously in the end, Sabeel, I think the only plan B they will have is, okay, do it without fans.
Yeah, and that we say plan B there. They're not going to call it off at this stage, I think.
Yeah.
They'd be reluctant to do so. But even last time they called it off, they eventually did finish it. And how did they finish it? Without fans. So that does seem like it's going to be the most likely thing. And I feel it's really unfair, genuinely just unfair. These people are the backbone of your game, and this is how they get treated like a second. But that happens, I guess, in the Premier League. We're used to it now.
Are you talking about Asif or the fans?
Not sure.
But Sabeel, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. Just to give you a segment recap of what we were discussing in football as well. And we discussed the fact that obviously there are COVID concerns now, but the emergency meeting has yielded no results, because the only decision that came out was that games will go according to the fixtures. The fixtures will go according to the plans, and nothing constructive would be done about all of these things. On that note, that's all we have time for, but you can definitely catch us tomorrow once again with a new roundup of all the sports that are happening. Write to us, to talk to us, whether it's on Twitter, on Facebook as well, on PTV World's website, and do tell us what you want to hear about and what you can add to the show as well. On that note, from me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.